Thank you so much, Lore. I think Trimby still wanted to answer some questions. I always love interviews with Trimby. He's so precious, and he put up a great performance once again. But we are here in the LEC post-game lobby with Goldborg and Odoamne, because how could we not have Odoamne on PGL for the last time this spring?
As always, it's an honor to be here and hang out with you guys on these fancy couches.
People do really look forward to the Odo PGLs, you know. Is it stressful? Yeah.
I mean, it's newest Netflix series, I guess.
Yeah, would maybe be good. All right, let's look back at this game. Rogue versus G2. I gotta say, Odo, I was a bit disappointed in that we didn't get an as close game as expected. If we look at both of your levels recently, what do you think it was?
I mean, killing Yanko's level 1 definitely contributed to the game. But I also feel like, I don't know, they were kind of predictable with most of the plays they were trying to do, because we killed Yanko's level 1 when they're kind of doing the same level 1 that they've been doing for like the whole split, and they keep doing it, and it was a bit bizarre that they keep trying to do it. And then we killed Caps on rotation to top dive. That was very telegraphed as well, and he's walking there without sums, and I don't know, it just felt like they're just kind of autopiloting their plays. And also draft was a massive diffy this game, I think. I don't know, I mean, looking at meta picks right now, the champs we got were complete prio champs. Zeri, Hecarim, Victor are perma pick or ban in pretty much almost every major region, especially in EU, because we do love these sorts of champs. And I don't know, it felt really weird to get all three of them on blue. You know, we went to 2-3, and then we were like, why should we just pick both of them? Because we were like, you're not used to having both of them just open like that. And we're like, well, I guess we take them, you know, because we had like something else planned as well that we were gonna go for, and then we were like, I mean, it's just stupid to not take the three most OP champs in the meta right now. So yeah, I mean, all of these factors were kind of the reason why they lost so hard.
In that regard as well, because up towards the laning phase you had against Akshan, which is a ranged top laner, it looked a little bit dire. You almost got solo kill there, level 1. How did you feel about the matchup in lane?
Jesus, Goldberg.
I mean, almost doesn't mean anything, no? It's like, if my brain is on, it's like, if either, like, I was like, okay, he's gonna Q flash, and I'm gonna flash, and then it's fine, and then he misses CS the whole time, so it was like kind of, yeah, that's the way the matchup will go, especially after the level 1 where I was forced to take E and just fight for the level 1 invade. And I mean, overall, I did say that going to this game, I knew that I was gonna play Nard into Akshan most likely, and I was like, yeah, we just need jungler to path to top, because they're probably going to look to dive on third wave, and if I make it to first base, then this matchup is completely free for me, which is kind of what happened, you know, because, I don't know, the volatility that happened level 1 was actually good for me, because he was forced to take an early base, and then I got to just straight slow pushes, which is kind of a dream scenario for me to just farm it up, and then, yeah, I don't know, at like level 5, 6, 7, I can start contesting really easily, and he just runs out of damage to kill me, so.
And you were definitely more useful in the team fight situations that you got into as well, and you played them very well, but it wasn't enough to get Kia player of the game.
Yeah, that's rigged. That's rigged. That is rigged.
Comp, with 40% of the votes, there was a bit there where he was literally zooming 1v3 in the bot lane. Were you watching?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. Honestly, it's just, what is it? It's the year the champion was made diffy, kind of. I'm playing 2000, not as
champion
release, 2016 champion, or so 2015 champion. Even older than that, I think. It's 2014, I think, because I was playing my promotion game in LEC.
Yeah, Nar's been around for a while.
Yeah, and he's playing 2022 champion. So honestly, yeah, you just look at the champion, you're like looking at the release date, and it's like, yeah, that's the champion I want. That's the flashy.
Do you know
champ.
Our stats people actually do have a ranking? They have a release date difference ranking, and they look at if it's actually the case. And I believe that the first couple of weeks in the season, or like by the halfway point, all the newest ones were losing a lot.
Really?
Yeah, but then Zeri came out.
But there's also just the stuff like you get champions like Twisted Fate that's been in the game for the longest time ever, high elo or high win rate, the likes of Garai, so high prior as well. Like some of the season 1 champions, you don't want to sleep on them either, because they're just so binary that they're quite kind of broken.
But I hear you about the some of the champions that get released. Do you think Renata is crazy too, or is she balanced?
I mean, the thing is also with Zeri, if we look back, when she got released, she wasn't really prio for a week or two, and everyone was like, this champion is too weak, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, after 2 weeks, she becomes the most OP champion in the game. And I feel like that might be the case with Renata as well, but I'm more inclined to believe that it's not. It's not going to be the same level of OP, but For me, Renata right now is a good support champion that is maybe good to pick late in the draft, like maybe 4 or 5, or use as a counter pick. But I mean, I don't know. The way it's gonna be is like we're gonna have 3 weeks on the same patch, I think, because I don't think the patch is gonna change, if I'm not mistaken.
I think there's one coming, no?
And that's why I heard as well. But now that there's the Riot week off thing, then I think that they're just gonna postpone everything. So this is gonna be playoffs.
I don't know.
Patch.
Let me ask if production knows and if they can tell me. But go ahead.
Yeah. So that's there's gonna be 3 weeks on this patch. So I mean, even if you look at Worlds is like 1 month on the same patch, and by the end of Worlds, there's always a different meta than compared to the beginning.
12.5 in playoffs.
Yeah, so it's the same patch that we have right now. So, I mean, things might change. Renata might become really OP because most of the team's opinion is pretty high on Renata, but we need to see how high it can get.
So now you're on 12.4, by the way, but not on live.
Or like the live patch.
Yeah, the live patch. Indeed, sorry, just to clarify, Goldberg.
How often do you feel like the scrim culture kind of changes when you're picking champions? Because we had like the TF nerf that came through, then 1 week no one played the champion, now it's Prio again. Like, do you feel like it's a team mentality thing where you sometimes just try a champion too hard or don't give it a chance enough?
I mean, it's weird because I feel like it's mostly a bubble kind of meta because... what was it? I think last year when we played Mad Lions with the Rogue roster and we got 3-0'd, that kind of happened because our main scrim partners for, or like our bubble of scrims for prepping for them was G2 and someone else, I forgot who it was. And we kind of made our own scrim meta and they had their, and Mad had their own scrim meta and their meta was just better and we just got 3-0'd and I think G2 also suffered or Fnatic suffered. I don't know. I think something happened where like both, like our bubble was getting completely stomped in playoffs. And then you're like, oh, well, you're kind of messing up real time, like big time. So what they're doing is obviously better. So that's why sometimes you see, like we had comeback in the playoffs. I mean, we still lost finals, whatever, but our performance after getting stomped 3-0 by Mad was like a lot better just because we got to get out of that bubble, you know? So I feel like the same will happen this time probably where, teams just get the main scrim partner and everyone just experimenting. And for example, TF is going to be really OP and then we're like, oh yeah, we're just going to try, let's say, I don't know, Orianna or Victor into it. And we're going to be like, oh, this is really, really good. Wow. And then the other part of the other team with their bubble finds a different counter. And then we're like, in our opinion, TF is going to be useless, but for them, TF is still OP because they just pick whatever, I don't know, jungler, let's say, or whatever. And stuff like this might happen. So I feel like meta will be reliant on what the bubbles are going to be about.
And I guess you can't avoid it because you can't scrim everybody. So it's just about who can adapt the most.
Well, the thing is, we made a mistake last time where we were kind of screaming. We're like, oh, G2 is really good. Let's just scream G2 all the time. And we had G2 maybe 3 out of like, or like 4 out of 5 blocks. And we're like, yeah, they're the best team. We're going to scrim with them. And then we made a bad meta read because we were just screaming the same team. And I feel like it's just better to... Realistically, you can scrim everyone else except the team that you're playing against. So it's probably better to not pick a team where you're like, oh, they're really good, let's just scrim them.
I got him. Do you have another point?
I was just going to say, so that's why playoffs ended that way last year.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. Oh, suck. Anyways, let's take a look at the standings after the spring 2022 regular season. They're all locked in. Odo, what is the biggest surprise of how the standings ended up for you?
I mean, Misfits is pretty high. Coming into the split, I expected Misfits to maybe be not so high, maybe like 4th, 5th, 6th. Obviously, Vitality being where they are is a big surprise. But honestly, the biggest surprise is that Excel made playoffs because, I mean, it became meta for the LEC for Excel to not make playoffs.
Meta, lol.
And right now, it's like, I'm really happy for Excel that they finally made playoffs. Mad Lions also a tragedy, honestly.
Yeah. So are you surprised Team Vitality is as high or as low as they are? What do you mean with that?
I mean, Vitality, everyone's like super team. Everyone's like riding on a copium train, like Nirvana, all of this stuff. They're like the messiah of League of Legends in Europe and all of this stuff, and then they end up 6th, you know? I mean, granted, I think G2 also was like 2 years ago, they ended up 6th and then they won LEC, so it's like all of this might backfire, you know, in 2 or 3 weeks, because like right now it's even playing grounds. Everyone's back to 0 and everyone's just gonna work hard and kind of try to iron out their mistakes, and honestly, it's everyone's game at the moment.
So you're saying getting first place this time around in Reckless East will mean you'll get first place in finals?
Maybe. I mean, if you lose, sucks. That's life.
Sure.
Can't really do much about it, but I mean, it would be nice. But I don't know. That's what I mean. Just because we're first right now doesn't mean anything. We were first last year and we ended up losing super hard. And yeah, that's what I say. Just even playing around, just start from scratch and just do everything you can, do your job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Starting with Misfits, that is the opponent you have chosen. I think all information that was available to you, considering that is very acceptable choice. Knowing that you now also condemn Fnatic or G2, no matter you want to look at it, to a match versus each other, which is really cool. And of course we have XL Vitality. You are in fact also the first game on Friday in 3 weeks. So, or the first match rather. Trimby already talked about it a little bit, but what went into the motivation of picking Misfits?
I just feel like Misfits, when they play right now, they're kind of showing all of their cards. You know, looking at G2, I expected a different game today, a harder game where, I don't know, I feel like they didn't really play to their standard today. And I feel like that G2's potential to, like their gameplay potential is a lot higher than Misfits, in the sense that they're also quite unpredictable and they're a lot more aggressive on how they play around the Broken Blade, I feel like, because Caps, Jankos, Broken Blade kind of have this dynamic of just playing around each other very well and being very aggressive. While for Misfits, I just feel like it's VTO one-man army, and it's, in my opinion, kind of easier to prep against something like that than G2's unpredictability.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yamato gave an interview 2 days ago, so on Friday, where he was asked about kind of his ambitions. And he said, we're going to be number one. If we're not number one at the end of, so basically after playoffs, that would be a huge embarrassment. Then, of course, promptly that game versus Misfits happened right after. And I think all of us have been riding that Fnatic train as well. I mean, of course, you know, we are the LEC crew, so that's what happens. But what's your vision on it now that they've like dropped a couple of games here and there, and especially that game versus Misfits? How strong do you think they are?
I mean, definitely. Even coming to the split, Fnatic and Vitality were the two teams to kind of look at. Fnatic made, my opinion, big roster improvements with the pickups that they had. So I felt like they were a clear contender ever since the beginning. I thought that they were better than Vitality Super Team, you know, even from when they made the roster. So I feel like those are fair ambitions, even though it's kind of a very generic PR answer.
That's fine.
In a way, it's true, you know, like a team like Fnatic that has like a pedigree or whatever the word is, and they have like, they made roster improvements as well. It's only natural for them to aim for, you know, the number one spot. But I do feel like they still have things to work on, just as we do and every other team. No one reached like this level of like being one step ahead of absolutely everyone in the league. So, yeah, I mean, definitely a worthy contender, and I feel like their ambitions are real.
Now, you talk about Misfits being, okay, you didn't say necessarily super easy to prep against, but maybe easier than G2, because they might have shown all their cards just right, like, already. You're famously known on Rogue for only performing in best of ones. You're finally going to be moving into the best of 5 stages. You quite often draft the scaling, like the Victor, or Jinx down towards the bot side. Do you feel like as Rogue that you have showed all your cards yet, that you have shown all the potential yet moving into a best of 5 where you may say that some of your styles may be a little predictable as well?
I mean, even if the answer is yes, it's not like Misfits showed anything else, you know, that is like out of this world. They're kind of playing similar. You could say that they're even more predictable because they're like, yeah, if mid collapses, then yeah, that's it. I mean, they're drafting the same for bot. Most of the time, for the same for mid. They also have maybe, you know, Akali that is super behind early game, and then she collects some free kills with the Yumi on top, and then they win 10k gold behind games. But realistically, those games should have been lost even with like picks like this. The reason we're playing the picks that we are playing is that they're just the best in the meta, and they guarantee us a lot of leads, you know. So even if we showed all of our cards, doesn't mean that you know, it's bad or teams figure us out, because right now there's also a new patch. You know, there's Hullbreaker changes that are coming through for top lane. Maybe there's stuff happening for mid. That's why all that we showed so far doesn't really matter anymore. Like all that everyone showed so far doesn't really matter anymore, because with new patch and 3 weeks to prep, you know, we might be the team that ends up playing Akali in 3 weeks.
So with the short answer, you feel like moving into the best of 5, you have the adaptability for a best of 5 now as well?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I feel like the thing that was crippling us last year was not really the predictability or the fact that we're, you know, playing the same stuff. I feel like it was just there was no harmony in the squad. There was like everything was so reliant and on us winning. You know, I felt like it was kind of like that sort of team dynamic where everyone is really happy with each other as long as we win, and the moment we lose, everything collapses. So I feel like the dynamic definitely changed now, and I feel like that's more important in a best of 5 because I feel like there's a different level of trust between each other now compared to last year. And yeah, I think that was the main thing that made us wouldn't really say choke, but like underperform when when losses would start stacking in playoffs or whatever. That's why we collapsed, just because we weren't really, you know, best teammates with each other.
Yeah. Oh, I love that insight. Thank you so much for that. Also, I think people sometimes use choke too fast when, like, sometimes if you have a close series and you end up losing, that just also happens. It isn't always choking, you know, but I think people love saying that.
I mean, taking gold ahead, game 5 of the series, into losing, that's a bit of a chokerino if I've ever seen one.
Okay,
it's a difficult case here, I'm not going to lie.
That one's probably true, but let's not think back at that. Oh, I also wanted to just congratulate you, because I think so often we go rightfully into Goldberg's questioning here now about, like, best of 5s and whatnot. But it's really incredible what Rogue has done the last couple of years in general, and also since you have been on the roster. You guys are so good in the regular season. You get #1 again. I mean, I just wanted to congratulate you for that, to reflect on that for just a second, because that is something that does get you in, like, the history books in terms of great European performances, right? Although I know that for you, it's probably not finished until you get to lift that trophy, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a while, you know. I've been in this position where I win regular season. Not sure if many times, but definitely a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, it's on us to kind of change the narrative now from being a good best of 1 team, because honestly, best of 5 is not really that different, I would say. It's just when you have such a negative stigma attached to yourself, it really takes an extraordinary, like, deed or effort to kind of change it, you know. It's like, I feel like the only way that is going to satisfy the people that doubt Rogue or, like, the haters or whatever is Rogue needs to win LEC for the stigma to disappear, you know? Yeah. And I feel like up until the point, no matter the performance we will have, if we have, like, heartbreaking 2-3 losses that we played really, really well, people are still going to be on this negative stigma until we win.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case. I love that. Changing the narrative, one best of 5 at a time. Now let's take a look at the final ranking in the Kia player of the game leaderboard. No.
Oh, man.
It's not even close, bro. It's Viteo. He's smurfing it. He wins. Yeah. And Viteo and Hylissang are both actually miles ahead of the competition, which brings us to our final topic, which I'm not going to keep that long. I'll let Goldberg start. Who is your MVP, Goldberg?
I mean, for me, and I will be biased because I'm a support player, so yes, now you can rule me out on Twitter like you did with Medic. I think Hilly, the pressure he brings to Fnatic
Don't let the mob get to you.
Oh no, that's free exposure. Any exposure is good exposure. I'll take it. Just go to my Twitter and give me some. But I genuinely believe that Hilly's pressure that he actually has on Fnatic is absolutely incredible, and it was hard to feel like that Hilly from last year was going to evolve and become even better, but I feel like this split he actually did.
Odo, what do you think?
I mean, I am somewhat on the VTO hype train. Even though, like, Hylissang did incredibly well, I feel like there's also this thing where people want something new, because they're like, Hylissang won MVP a couple of times before, everyone knows how good he is, and I feel like this narrative of pushing someone else than Hilly is kind of also the result that people want something, like, new.
Oh, so you're thinking about the whole narrative, right?
I also feel like, yeah, I mean, there's implications.
He's getting ready for broadcast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only like the narrative
retirement plan covered.
But I don't think it's also it's from the cast. You know, I don't think it's like the cast that is pushing it, but just like people like when there's something new and fresh. So I feel like the community would really, really want VTO to win, just because it's like this underdog story. He's one-man army in Misfits and all of this, and yeah, but I mean, Hylissang is like, when you play Fnatic or when you play Hylissang, it's like there's always something. I'm more scared playing against Hylissang, you know, than VTO, just because, I mean, Hilly just proves time and time again that he's a complete psycho, you know. So it's like there's that factor in it. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough call, you know, because I feel like both really deserve it, and both have like incredible contributions towards there's like team success. I mean, saying that, I'm one of the plebs that wants something fresh, so I would hope that VTO gets it, you know?
I can see that. I think it's so cool also that this is like the discussion, right? It's not like 2 ADCs or like whatever. I really like that it's support and mid, and that's especially someone with the story of VTO. It's
weird how we don't have any top laners.
No top lane. You only had 2 Kia player of the games, unfortunately, apparently.
Only 2?
Yeah. Don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
Are you not mad about that anymore? You used to be.
I mean, that's just life. I'm just going back in my top lane cage, and I'm just waiting for a miracle to happen, you know?
Okay, I'm gonna take a selfie before we sign off. Wait, I can't hold these both, so you guys have a chat.
How are you doing?
Great. Yeah. Lovely weather.
I feel like it's been kind of cold lately. Is that the kind of weather you like? Are you summer or winter person?
I mean, I kind of like... I mean, it's nice. It's all right.
Okay.
Oh, look, I'm over there. Wait. What is... Oh,
it's over there.
What, that one? The red dot. Hey, stop looking at me. It's really awkward because now we're just like all posing there in the camera. It's like, hey, look at how they're taking a picture and stuff. It's really bizarre.
I'm forgetting that my mic is not glued to my face at the end of this. Anyways, thank you so much everyone for watching. That's all from us here in the LEC Spring 2022 regular season. We hope you enjoyed the shows. It was plenty of fun. We'll be back in 3 weeks. Mark the date in your calendar, March 25th. That'll be round 1 of playoffs, Rogue versus Misfits. Until then, though, there is Liga Legando over in the LCS.
Boo! Don't do that.
Immortals versus Team Liquid.
Team Hans.
Have a good night. Bye, everyone.
See ya, nerds.